Hello boys and girls. Today we're going to take another look at calculating the area of a particular object. In this case, a rectangle. When we were calculating the area of objects on our last activity, we took these little squares and put them onto the object. The only problem being that over the course of time to do this entire object, it's going to take me quite a while to do this. But if it's the only way to find out the area of an object, I guess I'll just have to do that. Well, there we go. I got all the squares pasted on. That took quite a while. If only that weren't the only way to find out the area of an object. Now that I have all my squares on, however, I need to count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 squares in this row here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 squares in that row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 squares in this row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 squares in this row. Now I could, instead of counting everyone individually, just add up my 8s. So 8 and 8 and 8 and 8. If I add them all together, I get 32 squares. Now, fortunately, I found some graph paper, which means my squares are already here for these other shapes. Let's take a look at what we can get here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have got 6 squares in this first row. How many here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And as we can see, each row starts and ends at the same place, so there must be the same number of squares. I have got a row of 6, a row of 6, a row of 6, a row of 6. And if I add them all up, how many will I get? Well, that's 12, 6 plus 6, and that's 12. And we all know that 12 plus 12 gives us 24. Supposedly, this then is 24 square centimeters. Let's see if we have 24 of these square centimeters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. 24, got it right. Oh, I forgot to say the area equals. Because that's what we're trying to find, is the area. Well, let's take a look at this one. Oh, I have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squares in this row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squares in this row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squares in this row. So if I add my 5 plus 5 plus 5, I will get 15 centimeters for my area. I forgot to write my dimensions of my objects. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 squares there, so that's 4 centimeters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 squares, so that's 6 centimeters. What are the dimensions of this rectangle? The width is 1, 2, 3 centimeters. The length is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 centimeters. Well, I didn't pick a rectangle this time. I picked a square. And if it's a square, then all four sides must be the same. That's right. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have 4 here in this row. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 and 4. We could almost add these in our head. 4 plus 4 is 8. 8 plus 4 is 12. 12 plus 4 is 16. So I'm going to add up my 4s. Now, this is all very interesting, this 5 plus 5 plus 5 and 6 plus 6 plus 6. It's much faster than counting all the squares individually. But is it the fastest way of doing the question? Have you ever seen before where we had all these additions of the same numbers and we thought of a faster way? That's right. I have 4 rows of 6, and I can write that a better way. 4 rows of 6. Here I have 3 rows. How many are in each row? 5. I have 3 rows of 5. And for my question here, I have 4 rows of 4. Now, if we do this as a multiplication question, we can see that we had, in fact, 3 rows of 5. And that gave us 15. And here I have 4 rows of 4. So when I'm dealing with the area of an object and I'm dealing with the whole space inside here, if the object is a rectangle or a square, it's very easy to simply think of it as rows of squares. And here we have our rows of squares. When we can see our rows of squares, we realize that we can use a multiplication question. And where did we get our 3 from? Our 3 is represented by these 3 rows. But if the grid wasn't there, if we didn't have all these squares drawn in here for us, we would still be able to just measure a ruler and get how wide this is in centimeters. Same for here. There don't have to be squares. When we're multiplying to get our area, we're using these numbers here. The width and the length. In French, well, let me write it in English first. In English, the formula for area is length times width. And because this is math, and math is just super easy this way, because it's multiplying, whether you do length times width or width times length doesn't matter. 2 times 4 gives us the same answer as 4 times 2. 3 times 5 gives us the same answer as 5 times 3. So it doesn't matter which one comes first. In French, this formula is a bit trickier. To find the area of an object, and the math isn't any different, we still multiply the length and the width, but they call them something different. And it's something even I have to take a look at sometimes. Length is longueur, the width is larger. You will notice that longer and larger both start with the letter L. So we make longer a capital L and larger our small l in handwriting, which fortunately we already know how to do. So it looks a little bit more complicated, but basically all we're doing is replacing our W with this L that's written like that. The numbers are all the same. On this sheet here, I am going to have drawn some figures, just as I've drawn this first one for you. And this first one is 4 centimeters wide this way and 5 centimeters in length. So when we use our formula that the area equals the length times the width, we know that it equals 5 times 4. So in other words, 5 rows of 4 squares. And whether we look at it as 5 rows of 4 squares or 4 rows of 5 squares, we're going to get the same number of squares. The squares in here aren't going to change in number. And if we have 5 rows of 4 squares, we have 20 squares altogether. I will put some other shapes here for you so that you can work on finding the area. If you want to check your answer when you're done, that's easy. All you have to do is count the squares. Thank you very much, boys and girls. Take your time with this, do your best job, and I can't wait to see your work. Take care, everybody. Have a super day. Bye-bye.